If there was only one technique that was easy to do, you didn't have to learn a whole bunch about self-help, personal development, meditation, psychology, business hacks, something that was quick, something that was simple, something that was easy, and something that worked fast to get what you want and to change your future. If there was only one thing, this is the one thing that changed my life. It's easy and it works quickly. In this video, I'm going to break down fourth dimensional manifestation from Neville Goddard with a very easy, simple, and fast technique that works from Neville Goddard. My name is Jake with JakeDusey.com, wishing you a beautiful day. If you're having a great day, right there down below is my free Success Hypnosis MP3. It's pinned to the comments and in the description. It's my free Success Hypnosis MP3. When I made this for myself, I was like 21, 22 years old. I dropped out of college. I wanted to be a big international millionaire published author. All the publishing companies denied me. I had to self-publish a book. I created the Success Hypnosis. I listened to it for a few minutes every single day. Within 24 months, that self-published book had sold tens of thousands of copies. It got me a book deal with Penguin Random House, the #1 English publishing company in the world, translated into other languages, bookstores across the world, and it led to me becoming a millionaire published author. All I had to do was listen to this for a few minutes a day. And I always hear people, they can't get a job, they start listening to it, and all of a sudden they have numerous job offers, people that sell their houses on the market forever, people that get unexpected money out of nowhere. Just listen to it for 2 or 3 minutes a day. It's jakeshypnosis.com. It's pinned to the comments and then in the description right there down below. Now let's get into this video. Number 1 is thinking fourth dimensionally. John 14:29. And now I have told you before it come to pass, that when it come to pass, ye might believe. Now, as soon as I read these lines from Neville, everything changed for me. He said, many persons, myself included, have observed events before they occurred. That is, before they occurred in this world of 3 dimensions. Since man can observe an event before it occurs in the 3 dimensions of space, life on Earth must proceed according to a plan, and this plan must exist elsewhere in another dimension and be slowly moving through our space. Just think about that. And the crazy thing is science is now proving that. And he goes on to say, if the occurring events were not in this world when they were observed, then, to be perfectly logical, they must have been out of this world. And whatever is there to be seen before it occurs here must be predetermined from the point of view of man awake in the 3-dimensional world. Thus, the question arises, are we able to alter our future? Now, I can remember the moment I read that in the book Out of This World. I was like 24, 23, and I was lying in my bed in this duplex a couple blocks off from the beach that my now wife Ashley and I were renting, and I lived in for many years, and we used to read every night. And I had read some of the popular Neville Goddard books, and I'd never heard of this one. And I read that line, and I was like, whoa. That's like the coolest thing and the craziest thing I ever read. So I just kept rereading it. And then I was like, Ashley, you got to listen to this. And then I read it out loud to her. Because if science now even proves this, that energy can never be created or destroyed, and everything is made out of energy, including every possible future and everything in this quote unquote physical world, then that means that out of this world, in another dimension, all possible future potentials for your life already exist and are happening now. And I was like, whoa, if that's true, then if you understand how to tap into that, you can literally alter the trajectory of your life. It's like getting off the exit on the highway of life that you don't want to be on anymore and getting on the right freeway. And I want to break down these next 2 techniques, these next 2 steps, and then give you a 3-step technique from Neville that you can actually start to use in your life. And if you ever had that happen before, where you had that kind of premonition of something before it occurred, let me know in the comments down below. Okay, now if that's true, that we could alter our future, how? And step number 2 is changing our self-concept. Neville says, my object in writing these pages is to indicate possibilities inherent in man and to show that man can alter his future. But thus altered, it forms again a deterministic sequence from the point of interference, a future that will be consistent with the alteration. The most remarkable feature of man's future is its flexibility. It is determined by his attitudes rather than his acts, the cornerstone of which all things are based is man's concept of himself. He acts as he does and has experiences that he does because his concept of himself is what it is and for no other reason. Had he a different concept of self, he would act differently. A change of concept of self automatically alters his future, and a change in any term of his future series of experiences alters his concept of himself. Man's assumptions, which he regards as insignificant, produce effects that are considerable. Therefore, man should revise his estimate of an assumption and recognize its creative power. Now, just if we really think about that practically, it makes perfect sense. If, for instance, you were like me and you struggled a bit in school, couldn't focus, and they said you have ADD and ADHD, I developed a concept of self that I could not focus and that I wasn't that smart. And I didn't realize that was happening until I was like 22, 23 years old, and I tried to write my first book. And I was all excited, but when I began the process of actually writing it, it was like all this unconscious anxiety and terror struck me. Like, I don't know if you can actually do this. I don't think this seems really hard. Like, I don't know. How are you going to do this? And I realized that came because I had an unconscious assumption of myself that I wasn't that smart. I wasn't an idiot. I just wasn't that smart. I didn't do that good on my SATs and ACTs and college admissions, and I got in because I was good at basketball, and I was just basically a C and a B student, and I always got by. And when I was a sophomore or junior, I went to this guy, and he said, you have ADD and ADHD. And so I thought I couldn't focus that well and all of these things. How can I possibly write a book and become a successful author if I believe that? And I realized I couldn't. I had to change my concept of myself. And you can apply that to anything. It may be around money. You believe you're not a numbers person. Therefore, you can't make a lot of money. Right? You believe you aren't that good of a communicator. Therefore, you struggle in sales or in real estate or whatever you're doing. There's some concept, maybe it's around relationships. You're not that lovable or whatever it is. And I invite you to just think of that. Like, what is one of those things? Yeah, I was vulnerable with you and I shared one of mine. Now, once you know what that is, you have to change it. And the way that I changed it when I found all this out, I was like, okay, I have to create a new assumption about myself. So what I did is I created a success hypnosis that told myself that I was a genius and I apply my wisdom. You can comment down below. I'm a genius. I apply my wisdom. I'm a genius. I apply my wisdom. I said I was a genius. I apply my wisdom. I give my talents with love. I'm wonderfully blessed financially. I'm a millionaire international published author. And I started listening to it every day. And as you're going to learn in the technique I'm about to share from Neville, exactly how to do it. But if you want to have a free Success Hypnosis MP3 that you can get, it's free. Over 1 million people from all over the world have used it. Every day I get these epic stories. You just listen to it for 2 or 3 minutes a day. I get people that been trying to get jobs forever and they start listening and they get multiple job offers right away. I've had people that have had a house on the market for a year, haven't been able to sell it, and then they ended up getting asking price. I've had all types of crazy things happen. And it's because when you change your concept of yourself, your outer world changes really quickly. It's actually fast. Like, it's not a slow process once it happens. And my success hypnosis does it for you. It just takes a couple minutes, just turn it on and listen to it. There's nothing you have to do. And then you're going to see the miracles come, the money, the relationships, the shift in your reality. So it's jakeshypnosis.com. It is free. It's pinned to the comments and in the description down below. Number 3 is to believe it before you see it, right? I'll believe it when I see it. But Neville says, what is mental and subjective to the natural man is concrete and objective to the spiritual man. The habit of seeing only that which our senses permit renders us totally blind to what we otherwise could see. To cultivate the faculty of seeing the invisible, we should often deliberately disentangle our minds from the evidence of the senses and focus our attention on an invisible state, mentally feeling it and sensing it until it has all the distinctness of reality. Earnest, concentrated thought focused in a particular direction shuts out other sensations, causing them to disappear. We have but to concentrate on the state desired in order to see it. The habit of withdrawing attention from the region of sensation and concentrating it on the invisible develops our spiritual outlook and enables us to penetrate beyond the world of sense and to see that which is invisible. The undisciplined mind finds it difficult to assume a state which is denied by the senses. It's crazy, right? So this is a technique from Neville to help you through this process, to call the things which are not seen as though they were. Step number 1 is to change the future. It all comes down to desire, to define your objective, to know what it is that you want. Now, here's the thing. Bob Proctor taught me that there's really 3 types of desires. There's an A-type desire, and that's a goal, something that you already know how to get or you already have. So you make $1,000 a month and you want to do it again, right? It's something you've already experienced. Like, it's not that inspiring. It's just kind of safe. It'd be nice. It's comfortable. Then a B type is a type of desire that you think you know how. Rationally, it makes sense. I make 1,000. It'd be great if I could make 1,100, right? I run a mile in 8 minutes. It'd be great if I could run it in 7:45, right? You haven't done it yet, but it's pretty logical. It's pretty reasonable. It kind of comes down to that Albert Einstein quote that logic will take you from A to B, but imagination will take you anywhere. Because the C-type goal is a goal you don't know how. C-type desire is a desire you don't know how. Like, you really don't know how. When I sat down and I'm like, I'm going to become a millionaire international published author, and I'm in my early 20s and I dropped out of college, that was like beyond anything. It was even beyond my realm of thought even 12 months ago. I never would have entertained the possibility of it. I never would have imagined it. So I didn't know how. And that's why that's why it's important to become aware of your unconscious assumptions of yourself. Because all of a sudden I get inspired by this desire and I sit down to begin it. And then all these old concepts of myself come up. You're not that smart, all the things that I went through. Right? So your C-type desire is one that's like so inspiring. It's so cool. You don't know how. It's an entirely new paradigm of self. Those are the ones that you want to focus on in this exercise. Number 2 is to construct an event which you believe you would encounter following the fulfillment of your desire. So that's an event which implies the fulfillment of your desire. That's something that will have the action of self, of you, in the future as if it's already occurred. Now, what I wanted at the time was I wanted my YouTube channel to go viral. It was going to help my books and my publishing career, and I had like 2,000 subscribers. And so when I learned all this from Neville, the event that I created was sitting down on my computer, refreshing the screensaver, shaking my mouse, sitting down at my desktop in my room and refreshing the internet and seeing that I had tens of thousands of new subscribers that came out of nowhere, and I had a video go viral, and I'm like, holy cow, oh my gosh, what happened? And I go yell and tell my wife. So that's an event that I'm in, and it's a realistic event that would occur if I achieved my C-type desire. So what you want is a specific event like that. It could be walking down the aisle with your soulmate because your C-type is that you want to get married. It may be around walking into your dream house. It may be retiring your mother or your father. Whatever it is, and then you want to pick a specific event that would occur that you could see yourself in. But seeing yourself in, as you're about to figure out in step number 3, that's not going to really make the magic happen. There's something else. Now, number 3, according to Neville, is to immobilize your physical body, induce a condition akin to sleep. So lie down in a bed, relax in a chair, and imagine that you are sleepy. All right, close your eyelids, bring your attention on that action that you would take in that event. And then mentally feel yourself. Engage your nervous system as if you are performing that action. I am engaged with performing the action of shaking the computer mouse and then hitting the refresh button on the internet browser, right? The reason is because you must feel yourself performing that action. The imaginary sensation, we all know just through common sense that it engages your nervous system. Because when you're little, if you thought there was a monster under your bed, you had the physiological response, right? Your hands got sweaty, you had shortness of breath. You were sure there was a monster. It freaked you out. Like you're crying. It was imagination, though. That's a perfect example. I remember one time, was one of the first time I was ever left home alone. And I don't know, I must have been a teenager. I thought there was someone breaking into my house. There wasn't. And I actually called the police. I'm like, hello, someone's... Obviously, no one was there. I was scared out of my mind. Now, if you reverse that and you do it for an imaginary future event, you are going to engage new cells in your brain, your nervous system, your cells. So that's the key that Neville's talking about when he says to assume the feeling of the wish fulfilled. That's why the feeling is so important. It's not just imagining something as if you're not imagining your future as if it's projected on a movie screen and you are sitting there with your eyes closed and visualizing watching this thing, because then you're not there, right? Then your nervous system isn't there. And if your nervous system isn't there, you can't feel it. And if you can't feel it, then you can't align with that potential in the quantum field that is out of this world. You see what I mean there? And that is the key. So what I invite you to do is to try this for 5 minutes or less every day. Download my free success hypnosis and let it play softly. It's going to engage your nervous system. It's going to help you get into a state akin to sleep. Just relax. It doesn't really mean sleep. You could do it in the morning, middle of the day. It means that your nervous system and your brainwaves have relaxed enough that you aren't in a very frenetic state that makes it hard to get into the subconscious mind. Turn that on, and then what you're going to do is what I like to call the record player technique, which is to, as Neville said, to pick that event as if the future occurred, and then perform the actions as if you are actually there. And don't draw it out into this big, long event that's like hard to remember. The reason I call it the record player technique is it's snippets. I would just imagine myself over and over for 5 minutes, sit down, shake the computer mouse. Oh my gosh, it went viral. Run, yell really loudly. Oh my gosh, Ashley, my channel went viral. Redo it again. Shake the computer mouse. So it's small snippets, 5, 10, 15, 20, 30 seconds. So it might be walking down the aisle and feeling yourself cry as you're getting married. It might be putting the key into your dream house into the front door for the first time and walking in, jumping into the pool. It might be driving your dream car for the first time and smelling the leather and feeling the seat heaters on your butt with the cold air with the moonroof open. And just keep replaying that 5, 10, 20, 30-second snippet over and over for 5 minutes until you feel it. And when you feel it, task complete. And I'm telling you, when you do that and you just get to the feeling, and it may only take you 30 seconds, you are going to quickly see your outside world change.